All right, next let's kick it on down to Nashville, where Clark Lee and the Vanderbilt Commodores are preparing for their season opener against ETSU. And this is a team we've not hit on here recently, but very interesting quarterback battle. Keep talking about that all training camp, and it's interesting on many different levels. We've hit on the fact that Ken Seals and Mike Wright, maybe two of the best, they may be the two best players on the Vanderbilt team. So it's a nice problem to have if you're Vanderbilt, to have a wealth of quarterbacks, because you never know when you're going to need to go to the backup. But I certainly think both these guys are going to see the field early and often. And here's the thing, because Vanderbilt's in a little bit of a tricky spot, because we all know, if you listen to this show, Ken Seals, we think the world of him. He's a great pocket passer, whereas Mike Wright is the more mobile guy. But here's the thing. With Vanderbilt, the main issue that I'm hearing right now is the offensive line is just struggling. And that has led to the defense kind of having their way in some of these scrimmages. And so in an ideal world, I don't think that there would be any doubt that you'd go with Ken Seals. And I certainly expect he'll still be the starter. But what I'm trying to say here is, you could have Tom Brady back here, but if you can't protect him, it's not worth anything. And if you got a more mobile option, again, kind of going back to Texas A&M and Hayes King, why that made so much sense to me. Sometimes you got to go with the more mobile guy while the offensive line gets some continuity and get some experience under their belt. So that's why I say Vanderbilt's in such a unique position here, because you may have to play Mike Wright a little bit more than you want to. Not that you don't want to play him, but you certainly don't want to sit a guy like Ken Seals. So I'm fascinated to see how this plays out. And it's interesting that they've not named a starter just yet going into this opener against ETSU. Again, I still think it'll be Ken Seals, but we'll see how much Mike Wright plays. I anticipate that he'll play quite a bit, and it may be because of that offensive line struggling to protect the passers this year. So let's kick it over to Clark Lee, who talks about this quarterback battle, talks a little bit about the Vandy United project. They've updated that, and the $300 million investment, that's still on track. And we've already seen they've got new lockers and everything like that in Vanderbilt. So things are progressing under Clark Lee, and he sounds pretty fired up about it.
Well, I knew that the Vandy United project was on the books and on the brink of being announced. And there was some early conceptual stuff that I was aware of. But, I think what we've done and what Candace has done and Chancellor Deermeyer is just continued through this journey to find that highest level potential of how this facility can really reshape football, on this campus. And obviously there are, other sports that will benefit as well. So, I mean, it's been exciting for me, and I think with every, update or upgrade, I get more excited about what the plan is, what the potential is here, and how it's really meant to position our football program in a place where we can launch, and be competitive in our league for a long time. Not yet. I feel like we're getting close. I think the scrimmage helped us kind of move along in that process. And I do want to focus on the chemistry of the group too. I think that's important heading into game one, but we're not ready to make that announcement yet. We still have some time left here where we're technically still in training camp. We've done a little opponent prep. We started that today, but just giving it a little more time. Strategically, there's no advantage. So internally to solidify the chemistry and so that we can have some confidence with, it's just nice to know where the role is. Publicly, there's no reason to really make an indication until we play. He's a tough runner. He's a leader. He's a guy that as our kind of top running back right now. Knows it at a high level, so he doesn't. In all situations, as a pass protector, as a runner, he has a command over what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it. That's going to go a long way just in allowing the offense to find rhythm. I think as a runner, he's tough. When he gets vertical, he has a second gear that he can hit, and we've seen that from spring into fall where he breaks a run and he's not caught. And so I think there's an element of explosiveness that will be helpful to us.
And I also wanted to, make note, again, kind of like Clark Lee saying here, the Temple transfer running back, Ramon Davis, just keep hearing great things about him. And certainly based on what Clark Lee just had to say there about him, it looks like the Temple transfer is cemented as their Vanderbilt's new starting running back. And, I think he's going to be a big surprise this season in the SEC to make this more of a balanced attack with these two quarterback, Seals and Wright. So it's interesting. Vanderbilt, very sneaky team. Cam Johnson at receiver. I believe it's SEC StatCat who's got Abdur Rahim as one of the other receivers. He's got him as the most underrated receiver in the entire SEC. So there's some interesting pieces there. And you put all these together, we haven't really even talked about the defense. Apparently the defense is the one that is kind of the more standout unit here in training camp. So, hey, I'm not trying to get too pumped up. I just did a Vanderbilt podcast, and the host said, week 1 ETSU that's the biggest game of the year. So I'm not trying to put the cart in front of the horse, but there's a lot to like about this Vanderbilt Commodore team heading into the season, at least when you're talking about the pieces, ideal pieces to make this an explosive offense. And now you got a coaching staff that knows what they're doing when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. So I think better days are ahead for Vanderbilt, and they're coming just this season.